We got Matt and Chris here with KSBats joining us. A wood bat making company based out of Southern California, and we're honored to have them here with us, guys. How we doing today? Let's get a mic check going.
We're doing good, Jugs. How you doing, bud?
I'm
Doing
good.
oh,
Awesome.
all right, all right. Guys, did you chat? How did they sound? Loud and clear? They did kind of. All right, guys. Maybe you can say something else so I can make sure just 100% because it came kind of low on my end. So go ahead one more time, please.
So this is Chris with KSBats, and we're in Northern California, up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Perfect, loud and clear. Okay, cool. Oh, my apologies. I don't know why I thought it was Southern California, but that's why we're here to interview you, right?
Oh, Cali.
Yeah. So Northern California, my fault. So guys, again, thank you for coming in. I was telling everybody a little bit about the company of what I know, and the opportunity, how cool it is for us as a baseball video gaming community to be able to be exposed to your company at the ground level. There's a lot of guys that run, little leagues in here. There's guys that still play adult leagues in here. So what a huge opportunity for us. So thanks for coming in. Wanted to get you guys to get started and just kind of, I guess we'll start with you, Matt. Where are you from, and what got you into making bats to begin with?
Oh, I'm from Morgan Hill, California. It's not familiar with the area. It's near San Jose in the San Francisco Bay Area. And yeah, man, I just I've been playing ball my whole life. Always had a passion for making bats, and well, I bought a couple. I paid about $160 for the bats I was swinging before I started making them, and I broke them. And you break about $300 or $400 in bats in a couple of weeks, and you start wondering, to start making some bats. So yeah, I jumped into it, and well, basically I thought I could go down to the local hardware store and get started, and that was, man, I could never been wrong. So 5 years of working on this stuff, and finally developed a stick that can keep up with the best in the business.
Nice. So this happened a little later in life. You getting into making bats.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, if you technically, we were kids. We grew up in the country, and we lived next to walnut orchards. That's how we played ball a lot. So we have these black walnuts, and we'd be chucking them at each other, and your sticks would explode because we didn't have bats and everything. We go around the country, picking up different sticks, shaving the handles, adding tape to them. Dad's electrical tape, pissing him off, and. Yeah. And so we basically go around making our own sticks. So I like to think of that as when I first got into it. But as far as as far as turning one, I didn't get into it until my mid-30s. I just which was about 6-7 years ago when I turned my first bat. Looked hideous, horrible looking piece of work, but it was a bat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how does one just in their mid-30s say, you know what, I'm just gonna pick up a piece of wood and now make a bat? I mean, even though you did the thing as a kid with the sticks, how do you have the equipment? Did you just go out, jump leap of faith and go buy all the equipment, the lathe and all of this stuff that you need to do this?
This is Chris. Before Matt answers that question, I think I have to set the stage a little bit. So we are in California, like Matt said, but his property is a huge, like almost like a farm property. So there's all kinds of tools and all kinds of things here. So Matt has been very MacGyver-ish.
Okay.
When normal people break bats, they probably go to the cage or work in the swing. He goes and makes a bat.
Okay.
But he has all the equipment here and a lot of the know-how from him growing up, like building his own houses on this property to those type of things. So the area itself, and when you have to see the place, get a true appreciation of what's done here. It's really a much fuller and a bigger operation than it sounds to be. It's amazing here.
Yeah, and to answer your question too, I've been in construction. I've been in the trenches, making ends meet, that way. So I'm familiar with a lot of tools. been around the wood industry for over 20 years, and I knew a lot about it, and just if there's a problem, I like to solve it, and that was a problem to me. It was breaking bats. I wanted to make my own bats, and I dove into it, and wow, I mean, there is no real information out there on how to turn a bat, because most of the information is all proprietary with different bat companies, and it was a long, painstaking process, about 2-3 years before I came up with my first real prototype that can hold up to 90. Bats have to be able to hold up if they're exploding on you.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. So I made my first bat. I played ball with this guy that played single A for the Braves. His name's Aaron Parker, and I made a bat. Brought it over to his cage, and he's all, "Hey, make me one." And I was like, "Oh, well, shit. Okay." So I ended up making him one, and I uses it in the game. I know we're facing like mid 80s, 90s, somewhere around there. It's men's leagues, and he goes up there with the bat that I made, and it tripped me out. I was like, "What the dude? These guy's going up with a stick that I made out in my horse corral." It was
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he went out there, he swung it, and I don't even remember what he did. I was just amazed that he even used it. And the very next day, I got hit up from 2 more people asking for bats, and I was like, oh shit. So I out there turning bats, making a mess, making noise till the middle of the night, and it was about a month later. I looked down the dugout, and one of our pitchers goes, "Look what you did." And I looked down there, and there's about 15 bats. There was only one bat that wasn't KS, and I never even stopped to think about it, and holy shit, maybe I could possibly turn this into a business. And here we go.
Wow. And so, why KSBats? How did KSBats, the name? What does it mean? How does that come about?
So KSBat is it means Keenan Sons, and growing up out here, we lived baseball. There was this little thing back in the day. It was called pickup games, and we used to go and play baseball every day. It didn't matter what it was. You don't need a field, you don't need this and that. We could play in the living room. You find ways to make the game work. And so as a kid, my family, we were all I had 4 aunts and 4 uncles, and they all played ball at a competitive level, and we had a field out in the front of our house.
Wow.
So I started basically started from there, and my grandfather died, and once he stopped doing that, and my grandfather was a hell of a ball player, and once he passed away, we didn't play games as a family anymore. It's kind of stopped. So I brought it back, and now we got over at my little practice facility over here at my ranch. We get anywhere from 15, 16, 17 guys a week just out here just messing around. That's what baseball was to us. It was a family thing. Friends got together and you played the game for what it was, and that's kind of what KSBats is for.
That's awesome. So set the tone for me at this ranch of yours. I mean, you got an actual ball field. Is this like a kind of like Field of Dreams type situation, or
if you build it, it does come. Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm a baseball junkie, just die hard.
Yeah.
And so I
full cage, Iron Mike, the outfield machine, fly ball machine, everything.
Well,
I'm a visual guy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're a visual guy.
I'm a visual guy. I got all these little gadgets and everything like that. People love this shit. They live for training aids and everything. And so we got I have a field set up out front with a full diamond. We got mound. Kids come over and shove all the time. We work with a lot of kids, and then of course we got the batting cage where we do all of our testing, all our video. We do baseball's all analytics now. So
Sure.
When we're developing our bats, all that stuff, it has to be put into numbers for people now, because that's what people pay attention to. So that's what we use the facility for. We're constantly testing our bats out every day. It's disgusting.
It's a pretty cool man cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and to have it right there at home, how convenient, man. It's like you guys live and breathe this stuff, and it sounds like you got a team of of guinea pigs, I guess you can call them, because they're probably out there using your bats, and what a canvas to do this
They're
at.
loyal. I mean, they're loyalists. People that swing KS only swing KS. I mean, they're a loyal group. So the feedback you get from them is great, but we're also starting now to get into ends of professional swingers that can give us an accurate swing every single time they swing a bat. So they get the readings from them, validates all the work that Matt's put into this and process of making these bats.
Sure.
Yeah, we play a lot of tournament ball with. That was some of the first players that I wanted to get into their hands. I wanted to see what I had, and so like this Luke Lockwood, who's AAA player. I got him a bat. His second AB, he hits a dinger. I mean, it still hasn't landed yet. He smoked one.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, not a big deal or anything. But yeah, he hits a dinger.
That's an
third
endorsement.
AB. Yeah. Third AB backs one over the right field fence, and then I mean, just this guy's hitting bombs everywhere, and to see that with the bat and to hear the crack of the bat, because we get a lot of compliments. Where our process is pretty unique, and the sound that these bats make sounds like a shotgun going off. It's just
even when I hit it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this process a little bit. So how do you go about like picking the exact woods? Do you use different woods? Are you talk to us about it from pretty much from the ground up if you can, and from the selection of the wood all the way to the final product to shipping, and what that process is for you guys.
So one of the hardest parts of making wood bats and being able to keep up with the competition is you have to be able to learn how to source your wood. That's the art of it. That's the science of making bats. You have to know where to get your wood, and if the wood starts coming back in any way that isn't up to major league, minor league par, then you have to start outsourcing everywhere. So there's really no consistency to the actual wood, but of where you get it. It's very important. And then start with that.
And I think that's a huge point, because Matt, obviously we're a much smaller company, so Matt's got to really know what to look for and really have a sharp eye for the billets we get, because we're not Louisville Slugger. We're not those big companies that are spending millions and millions of dollars on wood. So we're fighting for that same wood they are. Matt's really have to have a sharp eye and a keen eye for making the right wood to make these bats.
So are these like wood kind of dealers, kind of so to speak, that are wholesalers, or that are specializing in high grade, high wood just for bats?
Some of them do. Yeah, they're all over the place. In when you go East Coast, upstate and everything, because it depends on what type of wood you're looking for. But most of these billet suppliers are for people that are do it yourself, guys that you're not going to get the best piece of wood, but hey, you want to make a bat, I can't emphasize enough to people, if you want to go make a bat, go make a bat. Yeah. So those are the guys that you can find online, you can find on Amazon, all those kind of places. But some of the best wood that we've ever ran into, they don't have a number. We had to find them through a source, a local source, just by word of mouth. They don't advertise. And so it's a tough.
We use maple, so it's literally there's someone going out there in the forest, cutting these trees down, and it goes from a full maple tree, and then they cut it down into billets. So we're talking through the process of what the starts as a tree, and then how does it get to a billet to us?
Yeah,
Right,
so basically, I mean, it's tough to find a good wood. So a tree, like Louisville, they harvest a tree's harvested every 60 years.
Wow.
To them. And with one tree, you get 100 pieces of wood, and that 100 pieces of wood, only 60 of those will be turned into bats.
Wow.
And of those 60,
the billet's 37 inches long.
Yeah, and 60, with those 60 and everything, only about 20 of those are gonna see your top shelf bats, your minor league, your major league bats. And of those 20 bats, only about 5 of those will make it to the majors. So
wow.
It's so if you want your name on a good piece of wood, there's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of money you got to pay to get it. So,
And you got to realize too, it starts at the top quality wood would go to the MLB. Next level down to all the professional ranks, going down to single A, and then college summer leagues like the Cape Cod League. The bats that are going to be in Dick's or in the men's league hands, they may say they're X quality, but they're going to realize how far away that is from the top of the
Right.
line. So that's where process and where Matt's really figured out how to keep that wood to its truest form, which is the tree, and put a high quality process to that wood to make it perform the best it possibly can.
Yeah. Let's dig deeper in that. So you find your wood, you come in, and now you take it to shop. What's that process like?
We take it to the shop. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start sorting our wood. We got to find weights. Only certain weights make certain bats, and there's percentages of them that you get. So a lot of like major league standards are anything from 86.5 ounces to 93 ounces, and you get a lot of bats that are 93 plus ounces and a lot of bats that are below that. Those bats we don't want in our arsenal, so we actually turn those pieces of wood into kids bats. So first we start with the wood sorting, which could take hours. You want to make sure that there's no visual defects, there's no pin knots, there's no sap deposits, there's no mineral deposits, there's no knots in the handle. We try to keep up with the major league specs. So if the major leagues allow it, we want to do that in our bats, no matter what it is. We're not going to just put out some random stick with a bunch of shit going on in the handle and everything like that. So sorting is important, and then as soon as we're done with sorting, we start taking in the orders. And just to go a little bit off of that, we do customized bats and stock bats. Our stock bats are the everyday models. You'll grab them off the shelf. You see certain models. With our custom side of our business, which is we're getting known for, we're able to do a whole lot more. We can put certain handles on with certain knobs, certain tapers with certain barrels for the everyday customer. So having the wood sorted completely is our first step, because we have to know what we're making, which could be tricky in the custom world.
And I think this is where the process and where AS really starts to separate itself from the pack. So the wood comes in a 37-inch long billet, 3 inches round, so it's certain weights. And I made my first bat. I turned my first bat that I'm holding in my hand about a month ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it came out great.
That's awesome.
So this is, and I didn't know this until I actually went through this process. So from the minute you put that bat on the lathe, if it's not centered right, it'll when you're turning it, it'll bounce. It'll have a little vibration to it.
Okay.
You don't correct it right then and there. Well, that vibration is going to go through that whole bat. So now it's getting away from its truest form and it's getting weaker as it goes.
I see.
When Matt corrects that right away and gets it right back to normal, a lot of bats, they'll go through the whole process to the end, knowing that's wrong and that wood's going through and getting weaker the whole time, but they'll fix at the end to make it look cosmetically fine, and all those imperfections to that whole process. You have a weak piece of wood in your hand.
Yeah, it's going to
Right?
shatter.
The bat, yeah, exactly. The bat that I actually made, we wouldn't have sold. It would have been a blend bat that we would turn into a trophy bat or something like that. But most other companies, since they have mass producing these things, they're going to stamp that, put it on the shelf, and you get it at Dick's.
Yeah.
And that's a separation from us. So we're not going to do that. And the customization part of it is really able to do a true custom bat. A lot of companies do personalization, meaning give me your colors, give me your engraving, what you want on the bat, and we'll give you one of our models. We put you through a whole process where if you want a true custom bat, it's going to be custom, from the handle to the weight to the barrel to the taper, the colors to the engraving. It's truly custom. Custom means custom, not personalized.
Right. And so, and you guys are getting into, like in the MLB show community, we have, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but they have what's called bat skins. And what you can do is you complete X, Y, and Z, and you get a bat skin. And then you can take this bat skin and you can put it on your bat. And then all the guys on your team have this bat. And it's, like 4th of July, they're notorious for releasing a 4th of July one. So it has like the American flag theme, and the whole barrel, the whole entire bat is a bat skin, they call it. And so when you say customization, I picture that type of situation going on. Is it that in depth, or is it more like what we see here, just kind of the engraving and a stamp?
Instagram has our July 4th bat. It's exactly what you just described.
Oh, you have one.
Yeah. So no, that you're absolutely right. The skins that you're talking about,
Yeah.
we do that every day. It's especially with our cosmetic side. Well, when I was dealing with the kids, when I started fitting kids for bats, I had noticed that most of the bats that they had, their wood bats, couldn't swing them. They couldn't get them around because they were too damn heavy,
Yeah.
too light. It just didn't work out. And so,
And no connection to the bat.
yeah, they had no connection to the bat whatsoever. So, yeah, I started putting these crazy cosmetic designs on there because we'd make the kids. We go and we fit them for their weight so they can actually swing something that wasn't too light or too heavy, which is it's a huge deal in baseball. If you want to perfect your swing with a wood bat, and if you have to, go out and swing with metal. But so these kids, I started putting like I don't know, they'll want a camouflage bat, or they wanted a python on their bat, or they wanted skulls up and down their bat. They started doing this, so it really helped out a lot with the kids and becoming attached and connected to the bats with the cosmetics that we'd give them. But those skins that you're talking about are exactly what we do on a daily, man.
That to me, that is brilliant. Now, you mentioned that you run a lot of instructionals for kids and whatnot. One of the questions I had, and it was really just posed by the chat here, was how do you convince a kid to go against what's cool, quote unquote cool, with a metal bat? And the metal bat is the way to go when you're a kid.
So
yeah, how do you convince a kid to say, okay, you know what, wood is actually the way to roll?
So I think they convince themselves when they see their own name on a bat, their own design on a bat, walking up to the cage or to practice with their name and their logos on a bat. No one's doing that with a metal bat. So all the other kids are like, whoa, dude, where'd you get that bat?
Right.
And
now,
then they
now
start
you're the cool one.
Exactly. So you kind of flip the script on them almost.
Yeah.
But then you start hitting, and the ball's going further with the wood bat that is the BB core bats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, what's going on there? The next thing you know, and this is where us dealing with coaches and parents really can help that conversation out, because you learn how to hit properly with a wood bat and practice and during the week. You go to a game, yeah, use your metal bat if you want, and you get that bigger sweet spot. You're going to hit that ball even that much on the sweet spot, even that much better with the aluminum bat. But I think the cool kids now have their names on their bats, and they're coming up with 3 or 4 of them with their own colors, their own designs, and they're walking around with a little pep in their step now, walking into the dugout.
I've been fitting kids now for almost 6 years for bats, so that something that they can weigh. We do a demo program where we have over here where kids come, they try different handles, knobs, and we try to gauge them for the proper swing. And with the kids, I have noticed that when they start swinging the wood bat, that teaches them how to engage that core. There's not a lot of life when you're holding a bat with a metal bat. And like my daughter, she's never swung a metal bat before. All she swings is wood, and she's hitting the ball farther than all the boys on her team.
Yeah, three.
Yeah,
she's
three. She's playing with 5-year-olds. So yeah, she's throwing the ball up. But I've seen it with a lot of kids.
My
daughter.
daughter.
A lot of them. Yeah. A lot of them.
So do you think it teaches kids at a younger age to find the barrel as well? Because isn't there a shorter sweet spot in wood in a wood bat?
And it's tiny, right? And it's also, if you hit it on the hands, where with a metal bat, it would give you a little forgiveness, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah.
Hurt. What Matt was saying, it's going to teach you how to properly swing. So you're going to get the ground up, you're going to get the lower half engaged, you're going to get the right proper sliding with your elbow, get that right bat path, that bat behind the ball quicker and sooner with the wood bat, because you have to, right? You really have to swing properly with wood bat, and it's just going to enhance. If you use metal in the games and the tournaments, and enhance that technology in that bat. But swinging with the wood bat is going to teach you properly how to swing from the ground up and engage the right muscles properly.
Yeah, the main thing is you have to learn to find that sweet spot on the barrel. You find a sweet spot on a wooden bat, and there ain't no feeling like it.
Yeah, there's no feeling.
It's just a pure feeling. And one of the biggest factors, what I tell my parents, not my parents, but my kids' parents and everything, is that they, like I said, you learn how to swing from the ground up with a bat. You have no choice but to. And when you're swinging with metal, you tend to get a little
lazy
upper body.
You can use the technology to its advantage.
You can hit one on the handle. You can pool cue one, and the ball's still going to go somewhere. You're not going to get that reward with. You're not going to get that reward with a wood bat. And Literally,
and
it's like going from a yardstick or swinging a hatchet to swinging an axe.
And all the premier leagues, even the high school summer leagues, they're using wood. So if you want to go anywhere in this game, you want to see you with wood in your hand.
sure, yeah, and exactly, they want to see him at a younger age with that. But here's my thing about that is do you find, of course, because the high school kids are throwing harder, they're stronger. Do you find them shattering more bats, which is obviously more cost? Now, cost becomes an issue for the high school kid. So that's why I think that, the younger kids is so brilliant because they don't swing hard enough or throw hard enough to shatter.
No, not at all.
Although ultimately, do you kind of want them to shatter? So they have to buy another one. It's kind of that game, or not, so interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, so we design our kids' bats so that doesn't happen. I've seen it. I've been doing this for 6 years. The only kids' bat that I've ever had break was two kids doing the freaking jump house on a bat in the cage. They weren't even swinging it; they were jumping on it, trying to break. And they're kids, So he's jumping up on the bat. It's the only bat I've ever had break with the kids. The ball doesn't come in fast enough.
Yeah.
And it's just you're not going to get that. Now, when you start getting up and towards the high school level, yeah, you're going to break a bat. You will break a bat, but it's often the players. Pitchers have long swings. Players with long swings and people that are not accustomed to swinging wood bat tend to break it more because they don't know that you can't hit one off the knuckles. You can't hit one off the end of the barrel and have it go anywhere with a wood bat. So they tend to break bats, but at the same time, with a $400 metal bat and 2 to 3 bats of wood, I mean, it's to me it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think to your point though, Jugsy, around the cost part of it, a parent looks at it and says, well, I can get a wood bat, a metal bat for $350 to $400. That's theoretically will last maybe all of high school.
Right.
Wood bats may, could be breaking one a week, whatever the case may be. So I think that's where quality of these bats are unbelievable. The bat Matt's holding in his hands, 4.5 years old?
Yeah.
Not broken. There's bats out there that are, from the beginning of inception of KS. Broken bats can be part of the process, but we're not in the business of let's break more bats so people buy more. People won't buy more bats. They keep breaking them, they're done. They're going to buy more bats because they're quality and they keep coming back. But I played hockey as well. You're going to break sticks. It's just part of the part of the gig, right? So it's and if kids are breaking bats that often, maybe it's take another lesson to figure out why we're breaking them so much.
Yeah, I was going to say if they're breaking too much, it's kind of like, well, this product isn't quality. So the fact that they do last so long, and you said you got a bat in your hand for 4 years that you're hitting actual baseballs with for 4 years.
Just work today.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense, man. So
we did about 600 bats last year, and I only knew about 4 to 5 to break. And the reasoning for it is one, starts with the quality of wood, and 2, we have there's certain flex points on bats. You make a barrel too big with a handle too skinny, and there might be a little reward with the amount of whip you can create, but there's also a risk that you take with a broken bat. You hit one anywhere other than the old 243 models from the 90s. Everybody was swinging this big barrel bat with these skinny handles, shaving them down, and it creates a bunch of whip. And bats would break. The average MLB player was breaking, I believe it was 6. 1 bat every 10 ABs, which is
6 a week.
Yeah. So what we do is we actually take them. I'm able to slow a lot of the pictures down of our flex points of our bat, and I add certain millimeters wood to the handle to actually create that durability. And with our superior finish that we use, our bats are they're playing ball. They're not breaking. They're solid. We do have several models. Some are more risk reward, but we have a model that we put out last year. We call the 64, and that bat actually is about 1.5 years ago. We still haven't had a break with that bat, and it's been one of our most popular sellers this last year. So it's we're not making bats to break. We're not in that kind of business. We want quality above quality.
Again, it goes back to that whole process, right? When it's on the lathe and there's a little vibration in that bat as it's turning, a lot of companies are like, just keep it going. You stop it, reset it, recalibrate it, so that bat is literally, when it comes off that lathe and it's put in a batter's hand, it's the truest form of
Right.
that tree as it can be.
It's not
So
compromised at all.
Exactly,
No, no.
exactly.
What
Except my
Chris-
back, because I so bad with
Because
that.
yours was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, Chris fucked up his first one pretty
Still not
bad.
broken though.
Yeah, yeah.
Still not broken. And I hit this thing on the
Yeah,
head
it's
all the
still
time.
not broken. It's just ugly. Anyways, but no, we run with our going back to the manufacturing process, and we run so our stock bats will run off a CNC and automated machine does the work and everything. All our custom and our our pro ball players all the way down to kids bats, anything custom, rip out by hand. And what Chris is talking about is you put a billet on there and you get any wobble whatsoever, wobble, whip, or anything on the lathe, you continue to cut it, the profile is going to get messed up. So it's
Right.
going to have what we call a banana. The bat, when you go down to your local Dick's store, look down the bat at the grain and look at the structure of the bat, the actual profile. And a lot of those are going to be bananaed. Those are no good. Those are blim bats. We don't even sell blim bats that have anything like that. We use them as trophy bats, on your wall. And so when we do our lathing process, especially by hand, when those bats come off the lathe, they could be traveling at about 3,000 RPMs a
Wow.
minute, and you can't see nothing. It looks like the
Mhm.
bat's sitting perfectly still. It's almost dangerous. So when our bats come off our lathe, before we take them over to our boning process, those bats are as straight as an arrow, and that's ideally what we want, free of any visual defects. And our grain counts are always there. We always guarantee a certain amount of straight grain through the handle, because that's pretty standard with the MLB and the whole ink dot testing from 2009. And then we
Yeah.
take them over to our boning machine, and that's where we create. We use two types. I believe Marucci uses what they call linear compaction, and that's where the femur actually travels with the grain of the bat, and that's how they compact it.
It's an actual bone.
Yeah, it's an actual bone.
Wow.
And like Louisville, they have these. I believe they're ceramic discs. They're ceramic wheels, and that's called radial compaction. And it's rotating on the bat as it's turning, and we do a process of both. We combine both with heat, and that actually creates a shell that it's so damn hard to even get stains in these bats. Sometimes
Yeah.
the compaction is so
Is,
hard.
is that
It's,
what makes it so shiny?
that's what makes it shiny. Yeah, well, that and our finish.
Yeah.
But when a bat comes out and it's boned and it's boned good.
Hey now, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
It's probably it took so long to get to that one.
Yeah.
No. Oh, my chat's been going crazy with the wood jokes over here. But my question is, so what's the process like for you guys to like sneak in these? I don't want to say sneak in, that might be a bad word, but it's got to be competitive out there. So can these professional ball players use your product, or are they contracted to use Louisville, or how does that work? Do you know?
Yeah, so I'll answer it. Then I'll let Matt answer it as well. So the two part thing, one is good. Is a certification that MLB makes you go through to make their bats certified for play in MLB. There was a 29 that was certified as of last year.
32.
32,
Yeah.
32 companies that were certified. So that's part of it. So our market isn't really the MLB, and it's a very expensive process. I think you need to send them 60 bats just to start the sampling process. It's
It's like 5 dozen bats.
yeah, if that doesn't mean we need to
Wow.
have like $10 million worth of insurance. Right now, that if we have MLB or professional guys that come to us and want to use our bats, it's great for us because we can use them to test and measure some metrics against their bats they're swinging now. It's really not an active market that we need to go and have us in MLB next year. It's be good maybe at some point, but it's not the active market now. If someone comes to us and says, look, I cannot play without this, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it's not something we're actively chasing at the MLB level.
Sure.
We have guys in the minor leagues and independent ball professional players there that can swing the bats, and they are in the games, but there's MLB level maybe 2-3 years down the road.
Mhm. Sure.
Yeah, when I first got started, without mentioning any names, I sent I know one of the equipment managers for a major league team, and he stuck my bat in there, and one of the players was swinging it, and I I was stoked to see it. This was when I first got started, and I was like, I got a active major leaguer, in my bat at the stadium and everything, and I was just so happy. He's getting ready to celebrate, and I got a call from or a text from the agent saying, yeah, he's under contract with a different bat company, so can you please not put that out? I was like, whoa. So I had to pull the ripcord. So what they do, certain players, especially in Major League Baseball, they're pretty much all contracted with different bat companies. That's the way it works. It's a vicious business as far as getting into it. Like I said, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get there. I mean, you have to deal with the commissioner. Your bats have to hit specs. They have to hit weights. There's about at least a dozen things that your bat has to fit that criteria. Every single bat, or you can you basically get in trouble. Plus about $100,000 in fees, and it's vicious to get into, but we have had major leaguers swing it, ex major leaguers swing it. They've all liked it, but what we're trying to get into is, once again, baseball has turned into this analytical game. It's all about numbers, and so we actually have a few minor leaguers right now that are sending back all their information, what they're getting from their bats, exit velo, hand speed.
We just did a test that is what Matt's referring to. We just did a test with one of our professional players where he had his major league issued, was it a dinger bat?
Without mentioning names, there was 3 or 4 maybe.
And then us, and the readings off of our bats were higher for all the readings, and it wasn't just the exit velo, like Matt was saying, with these blast metrics and these sensors. There's connection score, swing score, everything. This is part of it, and that was the first time that Matt really got a chance to see the metrics being swung. So what Matt was able to do, based on certain scores, is to then go make another bat form to help him increase those scores. So that's where customization comes in, and that real connection to the bat maker. Now the bat we're sending him tomorrow, hopefully those scores go up. And that was the first time he swings. So hopefully we can get those scores continuing to go the right way.
Oh man!
And again, the confidence of now he's going to have in the box with that thing is going to be through the roof.
Yeah. Man, that's so exciting. So you mentioned a little bit the target audience is kind of the younger scene with the kids now in high school and working into.
I think there's a couple. I think the target audience is almost different buckets, if you will. Right? There's the kids that from the young age of the fittings. There, the parents come in because it's the paying for it. And the men's league player who has disposable income like myself, who will buy gear, and some people buy bats, or whatever the case may be. So we have that connection, and I think that we discussed the professional player is more, not to chase them, but they come to us and use that to really validate and get the metrics and the performance of the bats. So the other two groups are confident buying the bats as well.
Yeah,
I've gotten orders from kids that are 1 to 2 years old, and that's where we
nice.
start. Yeah. So we it's no joke. They're starting them early. A lot of the parents, especially the diehards and everything like that, they get their kids swinging young, and I mean young. And so we get a lot of, and some of it's just cute, but other ones, they truly want to get their kids swinging. So we offer what we call our T-ball line, which is anywhere from 2 years old to about 5-6 years old, and then we go to kids, which is our kids models, which is the barrels are a little bit bigger. They're 2.25-inch barrels, and they average anywhere from 25 to 30 inches, and that's about from about 6 to about 10. And there's this awkward transition phase from kids bats to adult bats that our 11-year-olds to 16-year-olds go through. So we came up with a youth line that is a tad bit smaller than an adult, your standard sized barrel. And the kids have been really eating them up. I mean, they've been loving them. So that time frame from junior high through high school was a good time to get a youth bat. It almost I have adults that use youth bats. And then we go to our standard bats. So we got a bat for everybody. There's not there's not, our target audience is so wide that we just don't really say no.
Yeah, and the youth market's interesting because I bought my daughter a bat before I met Matt and KS. And I actually literally brought a scale to the sporting goods store because I was picking these bats up and they say drop 9 on it, drop 8, or whatever the case may be. But I was 8 at the time. I wanted to like, who's this guy with the scale measuring these bats? Like, what is this guy doing? But the weights were so far off that if I got her the wrong bat, her swing would have been so messed up because she wouldn't be able to handle the thing. And I was weighing them, and they were off by 4 or 5 ounces either direction. Same as a drop 7, it could have been a drop 2 or 3 or a drop 11.
Yeah,
like that variance was it's horrible as a parent trying to get your kid to the right bat. So Matt has really understood that market and have really gotten a youth bat for the youth that they can handle confidently, and the parents also know that they're getting what they're paying for.
yeah.
Just to give you an idea too of how we do it, like this double A guy that we've been making bats for. Last he plays for the Royals organization. Anyways, he National. He plays for the Nationals organization. Sorry, and we made him a bat. He liked it. He asked if we can create a little more whip in it. We made him one. It came out phenomenal. He loved it. And so we're putting in an order for more of them. One of the bats came out, which is the equivalent to the weight of 2 $1 bills. So it was 2 grams too light, and send it to them. We're able to dial in our weights to a T, especially when you get to a pro level. People are very particular about where this. You look at like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds swung a 34 drop 1.8. And if that bat was too light or too heavy, he would know it. He'd weigh him out. He wanted a 1.8 exactly.
By that 1/10 of an ounce.
Yeah, he can tell. Yeah.
And you're talking about the weight of a couple dollar bills. And
That's crazy.
It's nothing, but these guys know it, man. They can feel it. And that's, we don't want to come off as hacks at all. So when you start getting up to that pro level, want to make sure that your sticks are completely dialed in. You don't want to, we don't want to look like a jerk off,
Sure.
So, we do the same thing from kids. Pro level all the way down to kids.
I was
make sure that they.
Yeah, I was just about to say how the passion that you guys put into it. You're putting the same care that you put into for a minor leaguer that you would, a 5-year-old.
Absolutely, every day of the week. Every day of the week.
That's fantastic.
It shows in the quality of the bats, and it shows by the customer base how loyal they are.
Sure. What does KSBats look like in the next 5 years, or what do you hope it looks like? Or is that? I know the social media space is kind of new to old timers like us. We're kind of So go ahead.
I'll answer that, and I'll let Matt answer that.
Facebook.
Yeah. We're gonna do exactly. I'm gonna Insta post tomorrow. So it's for me. I think that it's. I don't think us selling 1 million bats is the goal for us at all. I think the goal is to be the niche player in a big market, right? But known for high quality, loyal customer base. So for us to sell 100,000 bats a year, I think that's very doable. It's going to be 100,000 bats that are very thought out, very high quality, that we ourselves would be glad to put into one of our major leaguers' hands if we went to a store, pull out the rack. I think we're essentially have a few facilities maybe around the country, and also I don't want to get too deep into some of our ideas, but a national presence, but a smaller, more niche scale with a real select defined market.
I got into this guy. I had literally no interest in money for this at all. I just wanted to make the best bat in the world. That's all I did.
No, money's not driving this at all. Yeah. Money's not the driver.
But if the thought in my mind came up where I can actually do this for a living, I feel guilty. I like I said, when we go out and do this shit, it's not work at all to me. I go out there, I enjoy every minute of it, and if we can get to 5,000 to 10,000 bats a year, that's probably all we would do. Because once you start getting up, get to Louisville, they're mass producing 1.8, and it's fine. I never knock another bat company. That's their thing. They own that market, and they're making 1.8 million bats a year. Marucci's not that far from them, and if you think you're going to get the quality in all those bats, it's just
not possible. Yeah, it's like you said, they're skipping steps along the way just because of time. Time is money for them, and they're like, oh, there's a wobble. Yeah, we'll get the next one in because the next one won't wobble. Let's go. Let's just get it going.
Well, and they can, but the wobble's still going out in the same shipment as the non-wobble.
Right.
It's called whip. It's whip, and some of their machinery they have is next to none. Like
yeah.
Louisville's lathes, I believe they were, last time I heard, they they were up around $250,000, somewhere around there. These machines, they're techs, they got unlimited resources. These guys know what they're doing, no doubt about it. Like I said, I'll never knock another bat company, but it's just straight up numbers. If 1.8 million bats is coming out of there, if you think the quality and love is going to go into every one of those, it's just not. It doesn't work that way. And they get siphoned down. They go, like Chris was saying before, they get pro level all the way down to men's leagues. Guys, everyday Joes like me and you, and everybody else. And so we don't want to do that. We want to stay anywhere from in the 10,000 bat a year range, 20,000, anywhere around. And there.
With that number, there's still a connection to every single bats, right? So Matt can still put his touch on every single one of those bats, and still produce the high quality bat. So if we go pick up one of our bats in Massachusetts, we know the level that went into that, where you're making 1.8 million bats. Some of that process will get away from it to some degree.
Yeah,
right?
Sure. You get lost in the shuffle.
Part of the numbers, yeah.
Yeah. What's the price point on these bats?
So the price point, depending on obviously the age and the size of and the customization level, anywhere from 119 all the way up to 220, depending on the level of customization.
Mm-hmm.
For our standard bats, our kids bats, our youth bats, our T-ball bats are all cheaper. We have such a wide range of bats for sale that you can walk out of there with a $60-$65 kids bat. For your standard and everything. But that's one thing about these kids. There's an immediate connection with bats, and we do a fitting program where we have, like I was telling you before, we come over and kids, we let them pick the knobs they want, the tapers they want. We let them design it. It's their bat, and they get
so
this
hands-on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's the baseball bat. When we're doing a fitting, that's your first and foremost. You want to have a connection to that bat. Once you have a connection to that bat, you don't think about it. You just go up there and do your job. And one of our things is the cosmetic. And so we put these crazy designs on there. These kids love it. They did it. All we doing is making the bats. And so they customize these bats. They fall in love with it. And going back to one of your guys that chimed in earlier, it's that connection to the bat that really gets them to swing the wood bat. And then they find out that they're, start hitting dingers and, everything with the wood bats, and they're hitting them farther. And our numbers have come back from several kids swinging bats using Blast and Diamond Kinetics, and we're putting our bat up against, some of our older sticks, putting them up against top BB Core bats, the new Meta Prime and everything. And all of a sudden our numbers are coming up higher than, their $400 bat. And we're just little old wood bats here. And it's not tricking kids, but it's giving them a connection to that bat. And, that being said, you can have a $60 kids bat turn into a $90 bat, depending on what they want, because their imaginations are a lot greater than ours.
Yeah. And how cool too. If I remember when I was a kid, whoever had the best bat, everyone wanted to use it. This might turn into like, hey man, don't use my bat. This is my personalized bat with my name. You go get your own bat. You know what I mean? That's
There's nothing worse than a kid. This one kid loved. I don't know. He was kind of into skulls. so we made him this skull bat and everything. He let his buddy use it. A week later, he was calling back to order the same bat. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, and he was pissed. And I was like, I don't. Aluminum bats, whatever. They're meant to take the abuse and everything. Right. Wood bats, that's yours. You don't loan your wood bat out to anybody.
No, never.
So right now, we sent a bunch of bats down to the Arizona College Wood Bat League. And there's guys literally hitting bats to each other as they're going up the bat. Yeah. Right? One guy's coming back and hitting him the next piece of wood as he's going in there. So there are like 5 of them on that team. So they're using the same bats there. It's pretty cool at the college level.
That is
cool. Kids swinging down there are tearing it up right now.
Yeah. So are you guys getting orders for like full teams or like full Little League teams saying, hey man, we want our Little League emblem on it here. Can you give us a bat skin? And they all got the same bat?
We had a whole Little League team here right before all the COVID stuff shut it down, doing big testing in the cage in the facility here.
COVID.
We do team fittings. We've done quite a few of them throughout the years. The coaches love them, the parents love them, because now there's a lot
Coach
of
showed up in full uniform, by the way.
he showed up in full uniform to my ranch.
That's fantastic. He's like, there's a
It
field
wasn't
here.
game day. Yeah, it was not game day. It was a little
Yeah.
weird, but he's a go-getter. He's a go-getter. What was I saying?
Team bats, team orders.
Oh yeah. So we'll get a lot of team orders, and the parents just get into it, and the kids love it because we let them come over here and just swing whatever they want. They can try different things, we get a lot of team orders, and of course, we get now a lot of leagues, especially in our area, and from what I'm hearing from everybody else in the nation, is they're doing a lot of hybrids where you're allowed to swing wood inside of your little league, where for the longest time wood was not allowed in little league for reasons of breaking and everything like that. So now they're letting them swing all these wood bats, and parents, it's just obvious what the wood bats are doing with the kids, especially when you fit them to them. They're not. When our first bats were, when you remember going, I went to a lot of A's games because they were cheap and everything. So I go to my A's game, they give that free bat giveaway, you get it back, and it weighs a ton. That was my first bat. That's what I learned to swing. These kids we're dialing them in to what their potential is and more with the wood bats. So they're going out there, they're tearing the ball up with these.
Kyrie, a kid we did a fitting for, a kid I gave lessons to, Kai's bat. He got fitted for a bat, and he did a KS5, I think, barrel with a different knob. And I gave him lessons, and he literally hits the wood bat about 30 feet further than the BB Core Easton, which is a $400 bat.
Yeah.
Dad's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's I lost my train of thought too. Dang it! Right at the last second.
His coach went to him and said, "Look, dude, you got to swing metal in the game." And him and his dad actually had a little follow with the coach. Said, "No, I'm not swinging metal. I'm swinging this."
Yeah,
I've had kids. I've had parents call me up and, "Hey, can you please talk to little Joey?" And he doesn't want to swing the metal bat in the league. He wants to swing the wood. And I've literally had to talk to the kids and tell them, "Hey, man, you gotta." The coach wants you to swing metal, swing metal and everything. It's like, no, I want to swing my wood bat. I don't like that other shit. All this, and it's been interesting. But the kids, they see it, especially anyone that give it some time. Some kid takes a week. Some kids take a week. Some kids take a year. But swing with that wood bat. See what it does for your swing. It really helps you out.
What I was gonna say when I caught my train of thought again is these kids swinging these wood bats at a younger age is going to only make better hitters as they get into high school and college. So it's going to advance the game a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And it brings the game back to a game. I hate hearing a ping.
Ting.
I like hearing a crack.
Yeah. I have a question for you in the making process. A viewer was mentioning, so if you look at the top of your bat, the grain is running the same way as the label. And that apparently is a process that is used, and there's different ways to go about that. Is that true? Can you talk?
How you faced?
Yeah. So throughout the major leagues, baseballs were always hit on edge grain. That's where the actual grains go. That's the strongest part of the bat. When you're building a house, anything, that's the strongest part of wood.
Contact point.
So back in 2000. After Bonds made Maple famous, so you're talking 04 through 05, people started breaking a lot of bats, and they were becoming projectiles. So they did a bunch of research. There was I forget the actual name of the bat company that did the study. They came up with what they call the ink dot test, and the ink dot test actually flips the grains over the other way, so you're hitting with face grain rather than the edge grain. And the reasoning for it is projectile. It becomes dangerous when you're doing it, and we want our bats, if they do break along.
So it doesn't splinter, basically.
Exactly.
It'll kind of just snap in half versus come out with sharp edges.
Exactly. Now you got a lot of major leaguers. You watch them up there. Every single guy that goes up the bat looks at their label, and then they'll line up their grains. But all you really have to do, I still believe that the strongest part of the wood is on the edge grain. So you rotate your bat, quarter turn, and you're still hitting that. They tend to fudge that a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah, to answer his question, the label is on um the edge grain for a reason, because that is MLB specs. That's in order to
Mm,
ink dot your test, which has to be a certain amount of tangible grain. So you can only have 3 degrees or less in the major leagues. Anything that strays from that isn't going to be allowed. We swing them in men's leagues and everything, but yeah, we don't want our bats becoming projectiles, and that was for the reason of it. And they came up with that in 2009.
gotcha.
The whole ink dot test. So it is for a reason. Ash bats, I believe birch bats are now have to be ink dotted too, and the same cell, but the cell structure of ash and maple and wood is completely different. Ash can still be hit on edge grain because the grains are so porous. As you get into maple, the cell structure of maple, there's a lot more cross fibers, and you're going to end up breaking a lot more bats. There's more durability with maple, but ash is going to give you more whip, and they took all this into consideration. That's why the ash still you can hit on edge grain, but maple all day has to be on face grain.
Wow. Now that is breaking shit down to a science right there, y'all. I mean,
You know, the wood.
Oh yeah,
he knows his wood. I love it. um, so walk us through the process if we want to. It's going on YouTube, by the way. I don't know if you. Walk us through the process. If I want to buy a bat, how do we get a hold of you? How do we get in touch with you? Now, and by the way, real quick before you answer, I kind of wanted to open up another possible market for you guys, and for you to maybe think about. And this lies on the consumer, obviously, but this community I was mentioning before you guys came on, there's an opportunity for us as streamers to say, hey, man, I'm going to run a giveaway. And whatever, however streamers do their giveaway, or like for me, I run tournaments, or people run tournaments as well. But to include this, a personalized bat as a tournament winner, or as in a giveaway that says, hey, that'll say you can put whatever you want on it.
I'll tell you
I mean,
what,
that's amazing. That's an amazing opportunity for us. And it opens up a little bit of a market for you guys. I think. I think it's there.
When's the next tournament?
I'll be having one next week ish.
Week.
I kind of doing pop-ups.
I'll tell you what, you take the winner of that tournament, and we'll let them pick out a skin of their choice, their design. You can do whatever you want with that bat, and we will happily send it to them.
We'll sponsor it.
Wow.
We'll sponsor the winner and give the winner a bat.
That's unbelievable, man. That's very kind of you. The tournament that I would be doing, so I do like sub tournaments that feed into a bigger tournament, and the winner of the bigger tournament will do that, and that'll probably be in another couple weeks or so. But I'll definitely get in touch with you guys for that. That's really cool.
And then if get your questions, so we're getting all of our social media and our website going right now, but they can get in touch with us at ksbaseballbats@gmail.com.
All right, so hold on, let me get that in my chat. Hold on.
ksbaseballbats.
ksbaseballbats at Gmail.
Yep. And then Instagram's ksbaseball.
ksbaseballbats@gmail.com. Okay. And then Instagram.
KSBaseball.
At KSBaseball. And I saw you guys put some cool stuff up on there not too long ago. Yesterday, day before. You guys put some cool pictures up.
With us too.
It's all being done.
It's all being done now. There's
send us an email to that Gmail. We'll get that for sure. And once we get that email, then we can be in touch and we'll get our order numbers. And the process is very personal, so there's a lot of calls back and forth. So it'll be a very personal, a lot of conversations over the duration of the process.
Love it, man. You mind taking a couple questions from the chat, and then we'll let you guys get back to your lives and your families.
Let's do it. As long as it's not about the kid known as Wood.
Yeah. I noticed. I know one question earlier.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw some. Now this guy says boning machine. Hey now.
There's a lot of that.
I do it all day. I do it all day. It's like enough, dude.
It's hardwood, boning, everything.
Um, is there okay? Is there a perfect bat in your eyes? Like perfect? Yeah. Is there
Our
perfect?
perfect bat,
Yeah.
our perfect bat, and it really depends on the swinger too. It depends on what you're looking. But when we're looking for a perfect bat, which we call our primes, I'm sure some people have heard that term out there. We're looking for a certain grain count in our bats, and we're looking for that grain to be absolutely straight as possible. If, like I said, major leagues, they have a standard of 3 degrees tangible grain, which is if you look down from your knob to your barrel, you're going to look at that grain. And umpires technically are supposed to it's this little tool. It's like a micrometer in a way, and they can actually hold it up to the ink dot. When the ink dot travels, you can see the slope of the grain. If it's 3 degrees or more, that bat is immediately taken out of the game. When
Wow.
we're looking for our bats, we're looking for a grain count. You look at certain players like nowadays, anybody's looking for a 6 to 10 grain count measured by the inch. So you get about 6 to good. That's a good solid bat. But I mean, there's a lot of controversy out there. Teddy Williams, he liked anywhere from 12 to 16 grains in his bat, and I heard he was a pretty good hitter. So he
Yeah.
knew he knew what he was doing with the grain count. So to answer the question, the ideal bat is anywhere from a 4 to 7 grain bat with no tangible slope whatsoever. It's just a 0 degree straight up and down.
And then from a hitter's perspective, I think the perfect bat is the bat they feel comfortable with and confident going to the box with.
Mm-hmm.
To also add to that too, it depends going back to the wood speed where you source your wood out. They have nowadays there's this modern way for kilning their wood is called vacuum kiln, and vacuum kilning is there's a process to speed up the wood, but it also preserves it. How am I trying to say this? So you take a full skid of wood, which is about 300 pieces, and with that vacuum kilning, what it does is it consistently dries the wood out at a perfect temperature and perfect humidity, because that's what you want.
Form, natural form.
Our wood has to be stored at exact temperature with exact humidity, or else we gain or split and things just go all bad. So it's about the process of where you get your wood to. That with the combination of what I told you before with the grains and the grain counts is ultimately the optimum.
We don't want to compromise the integrity of that wood from when it was cut down from the very beginning.
I hope that answers his question somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, no, not at all, man. I mean, it's so fascinating. It's just, just the average guy, you don't realize what goes into this process. It's a pretty intense process, man. And it sounds like you got it dialed in. It sounds like you both got it dialed in. I wanted to ask you guys real quickly before we let you go. How did you guys meet? How did you guys get working together?
Yeah, so interesting enough. So I played college hockey and baseball a long time ago. Had 9 knee surgeries, had my knee replaced last August, and started coaching my daughter's softball team 2 years ago. Was at practice every day, started getting the itch to play again, and went out and finally got the cojones to sign up for a men's league. Went to a tryout. I was trying out for this over 40 league, and I get there and it's like 130 guys. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Jeez.
Yeah, and so there was 2 divisions, so we try out, and I all of a sudden get a call saying, "Hey, I got picked by the Cubs." I'm like, great, what's that? Well, they're in our open division. I'm like, okay, what's open? Like 18 and up. So I'm like, oh shit.
You're gonna be you're gonna be the old man amongst all the kids, right?
Yeah, coach third base, great. And so
just keep score, old man. Just keep score, old man. We bring the beer.
Yeah, I get there, and it turns out I was picked by the younger team in the league, to 22, 23-year-olds. The guy that runs the team is like, "Hey, man, I got this buddy who makes bats." I'm like, "Great, what's his name?" Give me his number. I think I texted you that night.
Yeah.
Came down and saw the cage and everything. I had a machine I could donate. And next thing you know, I was down like every day and just slowly started. He and I around the same age, got along great, really cool dude. I could tell the passion of why he was doing this for the right reasons. My day job is I work with professional sports teams in my day job as it is. So I have a lot of connections to the sports world. And slowly, it's kind of the more I got to know Matt, realized that our skill sets really aligned well. What he could do well, I couldn't do shit. What some of the things I was strong in, he wasn't as strong. So it was a good kind of way that we could bring our skill set to really help each other out. And it's good, man. It's been a blast. Like I said, going out and to having to hit balls to make sure that your product came out right is a lot better than having to go QA some software for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
My worst day of work here is better than my best day at my normal job. So
Exactly. So now it's just trying to see what we can do from this thing and really, make sure we turn this into a business and do the best we can there.
Love it, man. So chat
And
says,
I buy into the whole vision, the whole process, what he's doing, and the reason he's doing it. I'm sold 100%.
that's awesome. You need that, Matt, right? When you're passionate about something, you got to have somebody to believe in you and your product. Especially if you have a weakness in, whatever Chris picks up. How huge is that to find? And really to just, you guys just fell into each other's lap.
Yeah, if I got picked by another team, probably wouldn't even have met him.
Yeah. Well, and you guys kind of, it's a perfect marriage. That's pretty cool.
I think they felt sorry for him.
The chat here says, so only one of you is the real woodmaster.
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It's like I said. I'm a hands-on guy. I've been doing this and researching this every day of my life. And if you think I'm fucking kidding, I'm not kidding. Every day of my life, I'm putting thought into this, trying to get better. And that's been my strong point. Now my weak point, I'm not a social media guy. I don't know much about this shit.
None of us at our age do, man.
Yeah. Turns out I was selling my bats, way too cheap, because I never got into this for them. I never did. I never even thought about it. I just wanted the best bat. Like that was it. And all of a sudden, these guys, like Chris, I've had a bunch of support over this, throughout all these guys that we play ball with. I mean, they're all swinging KS. They call them diehards. They don't switch bats.
Even the other day, you told the guy the price. He was like, "Come on, dude, what's it really going to cost?"
Yeah. I had a customer. He gave me $100 tip because I charge what I normally charge, and come on, man, give me a price,
Yeah, he felt bad. He was like, "No, dude, this is too good. I gotta get like."
Yeah. I didn't get into this shit for the money, man. Like I said, I put in a lot of work, and like I said, my weak spots, my weak sides though is I'm not too crafty with the social media stuff. I'm not too crafty with marketing and everything like that. I just want to be in my my shop cranking out bats and making the best of my ability. And so a lot of this stuff's been tough, but that's where Chris comes in. That's where my we got a small team of people now that 4 or 5 of us that's just been taking a lot of this workload. Because I mean, if you watching Chris cut a bat out was painful.
and watching Matt try to do marketing is painful.
Yeah.
So it works out well.
Yeah, it's a good fit. It's a good fit, and also there's that worthy, and he's cool. So I mean, it's a good start there. And like I said, I having people that know how to grind and work for something that they're passionate about, and we're both passionate about it. Different ways, different ideals, and everything on the bats, but we're both passionate about it, and I think that's our strong point.
I think that's a huge point, right? Because there's going to be times where it's like, hey, which way do we go here, and how do we really do it? And it's also going to be, a part of it is it's scary to go out there and see what's next, and how do we go do this, and do we really stick our neck out there? I think that's where we can both help each other. Say, you know what, now's the time to go do it, and let's just go do it.
Yeah.
But we both come to decisions and things collectively and go through a process and really make sure we're both comfortable before we do anything. And that's first and foremost. So we have to respect each other before any of this will work.
You care about the bats hitting dingers and lighting off like a shotgun.
Do you guys have any merch or anything yet, or is it still too early for that? Like T-shirts? Can anybody get T-shirts or?
What we can do is part of that contest. We can probably do a T-shirt as well. We're starting to get all that up and running also, and going through graphic design, logos, and all that stuff. That'll be available probably within the next 30 to 45 days.
Yeah. So there, yeah.
Awesome, man. So I mean, we're really.
You're at the ground floor, man. You are at the ground floor. Like, literally, you're at the foundation. You're at the foundation, man.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're literally in on the ground floor, which is so cool. for all of us to have the sneak peek and be
Grow
here.
together, man.
Yeah, be here first. Here in the Twitch community, they have what's called founder badges, and like the first 10 people that subscribe to your channel, they get like this founder badge that says that they were, your first 10 supporters or whatnot. And it's a really cool thing to get that thing. It's a really big deal.
I believe one of the companies I worked for was Twitch. Was in the same building as Twitch's first office.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. So we are actually kind of like establishing our sub badges for your company right now. We're kind of like those first ones that are gonna like hopefully be that army behind you. We got a couple streamers in here already saying they want to promote this idea. So yeah, dude, keep it up.
This is awesome,
Thank
man.
you.
We really appreciate it. It's for you to do this for us at this stage of our company is I thank you enough, and the gratitude we'll have for you for doing this is huge, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, from the bottom of my heart, man. This is a big deal for us. Like
Means
I
a
said,
lot.
we put a lot of passion into this, and the support is absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe how many people. I guess people just love baseball.
Yeah,
Well, people
and-
love quality too, right?
Yeah,
People
yeah,
love
yeah,
certain
yeah.
people too. So it's to your loyal fan base and your subscribers, I think it's a good fit for how people look at these bats. So it's to marriage made in heaven, but really appreciate you giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure, man. And one of the another streamer in here, you guys maybe could consider possibly recording the process of making your bat and uploading just the process up into YouTube or something, and just kind of have that. I think people would be fascinated by that. I would be. I'd watch it every day probably, but just something like that, little content things or things that you guys can add. I mean, I'm terrible in the social media space too, but there's a lot of people that would be into that, I feel like.
Well, we do. Like I said, we're gonna put out what we can.
Yeah, you don't want to
Unfortunately-
give up the chefs and the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
magicians'
yeah.
secrets here. We can't give up ingredients now.
My bad. I can put that up there. It just gives you the idea of the process.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
can do that if they want. Good luck. Yeah, you don't. There's a lot of this stuff is proprietary.
Sure.
Colonel's not going to give up his recipe for his fried chicken and everything, and can't do that. But,
But
we
what
would
we
love
can,
it.
we will.
But what we would love to do is show you parts of that process and just kind of give you a little insight on what we do and how we do it.
It'll give you a good insight too of the passion and the whole setup here and how it's done and that connection that we have to the bat. You might see chickens in the background of the bat being made.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, but seriously, what he's done here and how he set everything up, it really does. The whole process and the whole passion and the quality and level of effort that goes into these really does shine through.
Man, I love it. I think a Twitter presence would be awesome as well. Even just
So, yep, we have the Twitter. It's KS Baseball there as well. It's all getting active. So in the next 30 days, you'll see us on there rocking and rolling.
love it, man. You guys are great, man. I can't thank you enough for being here. Do you guys have anything you want to add to close us out?
Last thing, I mean, for me, like I said, I think can't thank you enough. Love to do it again. Let's definitely sponsor one of these tournaments, multiple, and keep that relationship going there.
Sure.
Anything your subscribers need from us, let us know. Really appreciate it again, and would love to continue this relationship.
Yeah, the only thing I can add, I can't, like I said, I can't thank you enough for this. This has been a real pleasure, and yeah, it's surreal and all that. But that tournament you got coming up, you guys don't forget about it. And all you diehards, you guys that like your skins, you want a customized bat with your name personalized, we'll personalize your signature. We'll give you the whole works, the whole 9 yards, everything that we do here. So use that, go out and win that tournament.
Man, it's fantastic, man. Can't thank you enough, guys. Make sure you, I will continue to, post the email if you want to, place orders at what or anything like that. Follow them on Instagram. Look in the next, month or two for them to start increasing their presence. And KS Baseball, man, unbelievable.
Who do you like this year for the to win the World Series?
All right. Well, going in before COVID, I picked Yankees Braves. So I guess I'm gonna stick with that. Shortened season, I guess it's kind of up in the air, but
Crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy.
yeah. What do you think?
don't know. I think with the DH now going to be in every game, I think the Dodgers lineup with all those bats is going to be very tough. They can roll out a different DH and no one sit on the bench. So Muncy, Jock, and all those guys will get their ABs. I'd probably like them in the National League, but the National still have the pitching as well. So American League, I'm a Sox guy, so I'm not going to go Yankees for sure. So I'm from Boston. I mean, those. I mean, of the Sox and Dodgers again.
Sox and Dodgers. What about you, Matt?
Oh, and I'm a diehard Giants fan, but I was actually thinking Yankees. Shit, man, I don't know. I don't even know how the team is going to go.
They might not be.
There might not even be.
There's going to be a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
It's, well, that's where my software, hopefully, my day job works.
This has been such a weird year that
it's crazy.
Do
you think they'll get through this thing or what?
Yeah, gosh, I mean, you gotta think we have to at some point, but
Everyone positive test already.
What's that?
Everyone positive test already coming into it.
Yeah.
So now you guys not playing. So what happens though if, like, let's say we're a month in and all of a sudden, Trout has his baby, so he doesn't come back, or someone gets the virus while they're playing? I mean, what happens? They shut it down. I mean, how do you?
Yeah, I think from what I understand, they say they're going to go through no matter what. So that means you're digging deep into the minor league systems. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'm excited and at the same time cautiously optimistic that we even have one.
I'm sick of watching the 1980 games.
Watch a game. I don't care who I'm watching.
Yeah.
I just want to watch a game.
The Korean baseball league at 3 a.m. is great, but I want to see something at a normal time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome,
yeah, guys, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll do this in like another 6 months or so and get an update and see what we got going on.
Hey, thanks again for everything, Jugsy, and everybody out there. Like I said, we appreciate the support from everybody. You know who you are, and thank you enough, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Look forward to working with your subscribers and yourself, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a great night. Finish the week off strong. Wait, we're starting a week tomorrow. You have a great week ahead of you. And I'll let you.
What month is it?
Yeah, what day is it?
Yeah, I have no idea, man.
It's crazy.
You guys are unreal, man. Thank you so much for your knowledge and letting us in to a little part of your world, man. You guys take care, and we will catch you next time.
All right, have a good one, man.
Have a good one.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Well, there you have it, guys. KS Baseball, KSBats, I should say, joining us in studio. What a cool interview, man. What a cool interview. Make sure you follow them on Instagram at KS Baseball, on Twitter at KS Baseball. If you're looking to place any orders, ksbaseball@gmail.com. But I will have that memorized. So if you guys, ever have any questions, I'll definitely keep up to date with that. But man, how cool was that to have Matt and Chris from KSBats come in? They got a cool thing going, man. I really think it's an opportunity for our community to capitalize. We're a baseball community. How could we not? You know what I mean?